Hello, this is Don Corleone with another film review for the Cinema Plus podcast. This week's film is called Capricorn One. It's a science fiction adventure film with a moral tale attached. So you got these three astronauts, they're ready to go to Mars on a rocket. Just before liftoff, this Mamalook lets himself into the capsule and tells them to follow him. So they leave the rocket and they're taken to a van that takes them out to a helicopter. And meanwhile, at Mission Control, everything is situation normal and the countdown continues. So the astronauts are taken then to a jet plane and they're quickly put on board before they can find out what's going on. Meanwhile, back at Cape Canaveral, the rocket is still taking off on its mission to Mars. Little does anybody know, there's nobody inside the spaceship. So the jet plane lands at Area 51, and the astronauts are let into a little secret that there is no mission to Mars. In fact, they're expected to just make believe and pretend they went there with this studio setup, a little bit like the Stanley Kubrick thing about the moon landing, you know. So suffice to say, they're not very happy about that, so they steal the jet and they take off, lose a wheel on the way. Unfortunately, they have no fuel, so they have to crash land in the desert. There's not really much out there in the desert, so they decide to go their own separate ways, and hopefully they can make it out of there in time and let the world know what's going on, that the government is lying to them. There is no mission to Mars. Instead, there's just a mission to survive. Well, as you know, the government is very sneaky. They send out helicopters looking for these astronauts. This is a very dangerous time for them. This guy, he's gotta climb up a mountain. This guy's gotta walk down a hill. One way or another, the desert is a very, very tough place to survive. It's a bit like the Bronx. You'd be very, very lucky to be able to last there longer than just a couple of hours. So there's this guy captured. And this guy, he's not looking too well. He hasn't had any food or water for a few days. Manages to find his way to a disused service station. Thinks he's safe, but yeah, you guessed it. Those helicopters are hot on his heels. Well, good old crowbar to the face for this guy, and boom, wow, that's one way to make an exit. So run, Forrest, run. This guy just happens to see a biplane passing by. That's why they call him a biplane, see? So this guy says, "Come on, get a lift with us, fella." A couple of pot shots down the runway, but it doesn't help, so they have to pursue him in the helicopters. This guy is hanging on for dear life. What an ordeal he's had. So probably would have had more chance surviving a mission to Mars than he does in his own planet. Well, some of the cinematography involved here is very impressive. So this is the big finish of the film. There's a chase sequence between the two helicopters and the red biplane. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of stunt performance going on here. Most impressive. So anyway, they smoke the helicopters out, and yeah, you guessed it. Bada bing, bada boom. No more helicopters. So the government holds a funeral for the men of Capricorn One, but they didn't count on this guy surviving. Running in slow motion towards his own funeral. This guy is wondering what's gonna happen to him next. So that's the end of the story, and the moral of the tale is never trust the government. They'll always lie to you. I give this film 1, 2, 3, 4 Corleones out of a possible 5. I hope you can join me again for another film review. Until then, goodbye.